Is this on? Is this on? Is this on? I'm a middle-aged guy with no idea of how tech works. Oh well, we'll try it. Oh, good. Wonderful. Welcome to Kurtski's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of... No, wait. Sorry, that's taken. That's taken. That's Tyler. That's Tyler. Hang on, we'll try something else. Hang on. This is a 2006 Mercedes... No, wait a minute. That's taken too. That's Doug's shtick. I can't take Doug's stuff. What am I gonna do? Well, my middle name is James, but I'm not British, and there's only one of me. So I can't take Thomas's and James shtick. They're funny. You gotta check out their channel. And they're Canadian, like me. They're down in southern Ontario, and I'm in central Ontario. And I guess that means I can't use the, "we're going for a ride," because that's Jacob and Yuri's thing. So what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? We grab our Timmies and our Canadian flag, and we think about what we're gonna do. How about this? Kurtski's Garage, Cars and Canadiana. I like that. I love Canada. I love being here. I love Central Ontario. I love cars. I do a little bit of sailing too. So we're going to do a YouTube channel where I talk about cars. Predominantly cars, and we're going to go on some road trips. Probably to see cars and go to car shows and talk to other car people. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's towards the end of July in 2025. There is the concours that is in Owen Sound, Cobble Beach. We're going to go to that this year. I'm going with a buddy of mine. We're going to have a lot of fun there. But the main purpose of this channel is to do cool things with cars. And to that end, a couple days ago, I bought a car. And it's going to be the topic of the first series of videos on this channel. And I hope someone very close to me can forgive me for doing that without thoroughly discussing it. Relationship tip, guys. If you're going to buy a car, I know we get struck sometimes spontaneously to do these things. You may want to have more than just a passing conversation with it. Now, in my defense, I didn't know I was going to buy the car until I did a thorough inspection of it. The owner claimed, well, 35-year-old car, one owner, I'm dealing with the adult son of the owner, that this car was never winter driven. And in Ontario, that's kind of special. I have a car that's never seen winter. I know what they look like. And we'll get to that. I'll do some videos on that because it's a pretty cool car, not just a neat piece of family history. So I went to look at this car a few days ago and got underneath it, and sure enough, absolutely no rust whatsoever. Thought, well, I guess this is going to be the first candidate. I drove it. You know, the car's amazing. The fellow who had it, he did a great job looking after it. And I think it's going to be a super car to get my hands on, bring it up to snuff, and send it along to a long-term owner. So that concept, that's probably nothing new. But I'm going to put a little bit of a different spin on it. And this was inspired by my dear sweetheart, who has expressed wanting to foster dogs or cats possibly. And you know what? What I'm doing is fostering cars. I've got 5 cars. This one that I bought will be 6th. It's not going to be for long-term ownership, but I'm going to enjoy getting the car resurrected, enjoy working on it, enjoy bringing you along for that entire process, and then we are going to find the next long-term owner of this wonderful one-family car that I bought coincidentally in my hometown of Kitchener. The car was bought at the local Mercedes dealership in Kitchener, never left Kitchener. Serviced 100% by that Mercedes dealer in Kitchener. I think it's Victoria Star Motors, if I'm not mistaken. They've been around forever. It's a great car. And I'm going to give you a little hint. It comes from the same company that produced this beautiful piece of machinery. Yes, it's a Mercedes. I love Mercedes. I've been driving them for about 11 years now exclusively as company cars. I own a business in the plastic sector, and I love Mercedes. I absolutely love them. I love the design, the engineering. This particular car was almost a foster project, but I'm keeping it. It's a 2006 SL 500, and I bought the car from my father 2 and a bit years ago after his tenure of ownership for 10 or 12 years. I've done a lot of work on this car. I brought it back mechanically, did a lot of cosmetic work, re-dyed the seats. We're going to do that with the new Mercedes, new to me Mercedes, and I'll show you how that's done. You probably have seen some videos using that product as well. What else have I done? I put the rims on from my 2017 CLS, which I retired from active first car duty, and my fiance is driving that car now. I have another Mercedes that's taken on daily driver duties, and we'll save that for another video because I feel that's a special car as well. In addition, I have a couple of other truly collector cars that I have no intention of letting go. And this is what happens when you're filming on a back road. People actually do come through. Not too often. I mentioned that I've got 2 true collector cars that I do not want to let go. They have family connections as well to me. I have an air-cooled 911 Porsche and a vintage muscle car, and we'll get to those in future videos. I have a good friend who races a late model stock car. We're going to have a chat with him and his fascination with cars and what he likes to tinker with because he's had a few. We're going to pay a visit, I hope, during a road trip to another buddy who has a couple of Porsches, modern Porsches, and we'll take a look at those. In addition, plenty of other family and friends with interesting cars. They are going to be just highlighted. It's not really a car review channel, but I want to show you some neat stuff that's out there. I think for the purposes of this channel, I'm going to focus on cars from the 80s, the 90s, and into the noughties. I love naughty cars. I can't believe I said that. I really don't. I like cars from the noughties. I don't really like naughty, misbehaving cars. That typically means expense. So we're going to do those types of cars, and one of the goals I have is to work up and eventually get a really nice mid-size SUV for my sweetheart, and it's going to be a result of working the right cars, getting them straighted, sorted, onto the next owner, making a moderate profit, and doing it all over again with another exciting ride. And you're going to come along for that ride. So sit back, hang tight, and we're going to cut to some footage of me looking at this car. And unfortunately, you may hear some middle-aged men, me, making weird noises getting up from a garage floor. I apologize in advance. We'll see you soon. Hang tight. The exhaust is factory overspray. Okay. Oh. Let's go. No rust. I can't believe this. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. No rust. This is incredible. You fine. I'll pay you $500. This car is fab. This car is fabulous. Okay, we got an oil leak. Okay, one oil leak. Let's get up there. It's just dirt. Overspray is still intact. My God. Who's under the couch? Who's under the couch? And we're doing a special on-site Kurtski's Garage today, looking at a car that is not going to be on the road for too much longer. In an earlier portion of this episode, I mentioned that my fiance is taking on one of my Mercedes, the CLS 550 4MATIC. This is her old car, and this is why the car is being retired. I've seen several Ford Focuses. Would it be a Foci? If it's more than one, maybe it's a Foci, that suffer from this extreme rust in the rockers, some deteriorating right up into the fenders, the rear fenders, but mostly confined to the lower rockers, eating away not only the panel that's visible, but the inner structural panel. And according to my mechanic, who I trust and whose wife also had to retire a Ford Focus of similar vintage because of the same problem, when there's visible rust on these outside rockers, that would imply that suspension and engine cradle mount positions are rusting out as well. But just for the rust on the rockers, this is really compromising the structural integrity of the vehicle, and should there be a collision, it would compromise the safety cell of the vehicle. And you can see that there are bits and pieces of the rocker hanging. So what's going on behind it? It looks to me like a portion of the rust is happening from within the metal. And as I said, I've seen several of these on the road that are in just as bad, or in one case in particular, the outer rocker surface, what you're seeing right here, was completely gone. And, you know, there's no way that vehicle would pass a safety at this point in time. So even though the vehicle is a 2010, you know, it served for 15 years. Mechanically, there is really nothing wrong with it. It starts, it runs, it drives, it does everything that, you know, you'd expect a vehicle to do. But unfortunately, it has just exceeded a point of being safe. And yeah, so it is going to be retired, but its parts will hopefully help other cars to stay on the road for a few years longer. At any rate, I just wanted to show you that before the car is picked up. Probably a charity program, like a kidney car or whatever the case, whatever is local, and will pick it up. They will take it, and you know, that's that. But it's just a reminder to be safe. Make sure your car is not only just in working condition, but it is also structurally sound. And there you have it. We're going to be picking up the new to me Mercedes in a couple of days, and we're going to get more footage of that. We're looking forward to showing it to you in great detail, and you will get to meet my mechanic as well, my own personal car wizard. Hey, how's it going? Time for a little Friday morning update. So the wheel bearings on the enclosed trailer, I don't know when they were done, but they certainly weren't done in time to pick up the Mercedes 300 SEL project car. So I think that's going to happen next week. Now, in the in the storybook of SL ownership, the R230, she gave me a little surprise. After it cooperated yesterday clearing out the airbag code after changing the steering wheel, which I still love. I think that black wheel and airbag cover look phenomenal in the car and really give it a sporting look that I don't feel it had before. Got a little ABC problem. And ABC, of course, is active body control. I drove the car to get some groceries yesterday, and when I parked it, there ended up being a distinct odor of hydraulic fluid and a puddle of hydraulic fluid under the car. And yet the car didn't produce an ABC warning light. The suspension did not drop to its knees. So what, pray tell, could have happened? I suspected one of the rear hydraulic pressure accumulator was on its way out, just based on the way the car tended to not rebound in a controlled manner over some types of bumps that tended to pitch the rear end of the car up dramatically, much more than it should have. And under those conditions, the car produced, this sort of strange knocking noise. I thought maybe there was some sort of mechanical limit on the suspension that maybe was being triggered in this kind of upward bucking motion. Hard to describe the type of bump that triggers it, but really anything that just would pitch the rear suspension up would trigger a temporary ABC warning light. I suspected the suspension going on full extension was drawing more hydraulic fluid than the reservoir had, or at least to a point where it was triggering that light, because that is the light for low fluid. And I thought, well, okay, got to replace the hydraulic accumulator in the rear. Well, it went, because these accumulators, if you're not familiar, it's a steel sphere about the size of a very large grapefruit. And when, so it's a large grapefruit, and the majority of it is pressurized nitrogen, and a small amount takes up space with the hydraulic fluid. And the nitrogen is the cushion that pushes the fluid. It's actually a pretty novel concept. Citroën developed it for the DS when it debuted in 1955. That was that car's claim to fame, the hydropneumatic suspension, which actually does work very well. But it has these wear parts. And to the best of my knowledge, we'll get into it and we'll film this repair. To the best of my knowledge, these are the original accumulators, front and rear, from 2006. So that's 19 years and approximately 216,000 kilometers. You do the math on that in miles, but that's, I'm going to say well over 130,000 miles. So they're due. I have no complaints. And I was expecting to replace at least one of them, but I ordered both. And thanks to the magic of time zone differences, I ordered them late last night from a supplier in Germany. And this morning when I woke up, they were already dispatched by UPS. We should have them in about 5 or 6 days. And as soon as that happens, naturally, they'll arrive on the same day. The project car has to be picked up, but we'll document the repair or the replacement of these pressure accumulators, and we'll get the car going again. But it's very important, if you have an R230 SL and you experience ABC problems, do not drive the car. If you watch Legit Street Cars, they took on a CL65 AMG with active body control, and the hydraulic accumulators did blow, and there was some thought that perhaps bits of the diaphragm, it's a rubberized material, may have gotten into the ABC lines and caused further damage. So if you have an ABC problem, do not drive the car, just park it. And the interesting thing, the car is sitting level, there are no problems there, but the ride was noticeably harsher, and that again is another symptom of hydraulic accumulator failure. So we're going to deal with it, and you're going to see me deal with it. We'll speed it up because I'm sure it's not going to be as quick and clean a replacement as others have done, but you'll see how it happens, what what the steps are, some of the precautions, and we'll get the SL off the disabled list. So there you have it. We're heading into a long weekend. I got to get back to work. A bunch of things to do before I sign off, but there we are. Update status on the fleet. There's always, if you have an R230 in your life, there's always something going on with it. It's kind of an needy car. It's cool and fun, but yeah, it'll keep you on your toes. At any rate, we'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye. Hey guys, it's a big deal today. I got the ownership and the UVIC, the Used Vehicle Information Package, for the Sacco Era W126 S-Class that I bought last week. And this is really cool. With this information, I can get the car registered tomorrow. We can get the insurance kicked over because the car will be officially in my name, and we will pick it up later this week, get it to my mechanic for the inspection and safety certification process. Then I can plate it and drive it, and we'll give you a full detailed review. So this is really cool. It's happening. I'm so excited. I've admired these cars for years and years and years, and this one, it was the right one. Sometimes these things don't happen at the best times, but you got to recognize when it's the right car, and I think this one is, and it's going to be so much fun, and I'm looking forward to sharing the car with you. When we pick it up, today I'm recording this on Monday. When we pick it up on Thursday, my buddy Dean is going to be the one driving the enclosed trailer and pickup. He's the guy who does the stock car racing. So we'll have a chat with him about that, and it's road trip time. It's coming up. Tomorrow too, after registering the car, I've got to buy a battery for it. So we'll make sure we bring the battery and a socket set to change the battery out, and we'll be good to go. It's happening, guys. It's happening. This is so cool. Well, this has been an exciting few days at Kurtski's garage in various locations. The project car, the 1990 Mercedes 300 SEL, was delivered to my very own personal car wizard yesterday, and that's Dave Morrison at Barrie Napa Auto Care here in Barrie, Ontario. So that's exciting, and we're going to go on site to see that car right now. He had some questions about the blower motor, and we have to get the blower motor for the HVAC working so they can diagnose the lack of air conditioning. So we're going to go there, check it out. Now, my other two cars, the Mercedes, the SL 500, the hydraulic accumulators will be arriving likely on Tuesday, so that's great, and we'll get those installed. Now, the CLS 554-matic suffered an airmatic suspension failure. Apparently, when it rains, it pours. So I was investigating that at my fiance's home yesterday, and we have a new compressor and valve block on order, and that seemed to be the most likely place to start. Interesting thing, the compressor, the front end basically dropped. It looks totally gangsta, but completely undrivable. And the air compressor was not activating to restart, although when I let it cool, it did restart. So we've got an intermittent failure on the compressor. It has to go. But the interesting thing, the valve block wasn't exactly doing what I was expecting it to. So I just ordered a remanufactured compressor and valve block from a company in Florida. We'll show you the details when that package arrives. And I paid a little extra for expedited freight, so hopefully we can get that car up and running again next week. I guess I gotta keep you in suspense. Mercedes, fancy suspensions. Any rate, I'm off to my personal wizard, and we'll catch you there. Bye. So the Mercedes is being a little naughty. Here she is. Well, I'm gonna come around. The Mercedes is being a little naughty, and I guess that's somewhat to be expected given its age and the fact it sat for a little bit. So far, the blower fan, strangely enough, stopped working, which was weird because I had it working, but we'll get that sorted. There's a misfire, so we're gonna start with plugs and wires, which is just basically good maintenance on a vehicle of this age. One wheel bearing in the rear axle needs to be replaced again. not that big a deal given the car's age and mileage, and it still runs very nice. The brakes work, drives fine. I think it's going to be pretty minimal at this point. Hey everybody, welcome to another segment in Kurtski's Garage. This is another away episode, and the car we're working on today, if you can see this is the 2017 CLS 554 Matic from 2017. This was my daily driver, and I gave this to my fiance to drive, and we had a few things to work on this vehicle. It has 280,000 kilometers, so that's an awful lot of mileage for one of these. It certainly is doable. It's a durable car, but the problem is with these Mercedes and in pretty much any other complex car, you've got components that are going to fail as a function of mileage and a function of time. So the car is 8 years old, a lot of mileage, so we've got an airmatic problem. You can see the front wheels are completely down on the bump stops. The rear is up, but that's partially because I have a jack on the driver's side getting ready to change the air compressor and the valve block. So we're going to go through that repair. I've ordered parts from a company in Florida. Let me get the parts and we can show you what we're putting in. And of course it's raining and I'm working right at the threshold of the garage, which means I'm going to get soaked, but it is what it is. RMT, yep, remanufactured technology. I think RMT in Florida. I paid for the parts with my money. They are not paying me to say any of this. I just did some shopping and their pricing was very favorable, and with a little bit of expedited freight from UPS, we got parts here in 3 business days. So I ordered them on Thursday night late and it's Tuesday, and actually they arrived yesterday, so 2 and a bit business days, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and replace the air compressor and the valve block, and hopefully get this car back on an even keel. Hang tight. So first thing we're going to do is take the protective cover off. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3 bolts. Looks like they're well, 10 or 12. What are they? What have I got on my wrench here? 10. Okay, we'll go ahead and get that off. Okay, so the beauty cover is off. The beauty cover is off. That is the proportion valve block that the compressor feeds. Each of these lines goes to a different wheel cylinder or wheel airbag, air spring, and that rusty mess here is the compressor. So we have to drop the compressor, unplug it, put the wiring harness onto the compressor, the new one, and remount that. So here we go. So rarely do things work out as planned when we're wrenching on a car, especially a Canadian car that has been through winters. And this is some of the stuff that we see. So this is the airmatic compressor. I had to actually drop the subframe that holds the compressor frame that the compressor is bolted directly into, because everything was seized. And this is a milder steel, and it just got bent and twisted. And fortunately I was able to get the main fasteners out, but what a mess. This is not the way it's supposed to go. So I have to order the frame, the mount for the compressor, and the subframe that attaches to the car's chassis. The bolts here are just seized, so I guess it's really no wonder that this thing packed up. So that's the next step, and I'll be back at it once I get those parts.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's another installment of Kurtski's Garage, and we are 2 for 2 on Mercedes suspensions this week. I went ahead and replaced the hydraulic accumulator on my 06 SL on Thursday, and you know, I had gotten the compressor and the valve proportioning block for this the 2017 CLS 550 4MATIC. Now, the brackets that held the compressor were absolutely destroyed with rust. I mean, it's a Canadian car. You're just getting all sorts of crap during the winter. So I had to go back to this time the Mercedes dealer to get the brackets, and then an independent parts dealer to get one particular bracket expedited. And that arrived, believe it or not, on Saturday afternoon. Yesterday, I'm filming this early Sunday morning. It's about 6 o'clock Sunday morning. I just couldn't wait to see if the repair held, and it did, and I'm so excited to see this. So yesterday I transferred the one piece, the main hanging bracket, from the old compressor to the new compressor. All the other fasteners and bracketry are brand new. Installed it, changed over the valve proportioning block, did a test, and the car came back. It rose. Definitely very glad that I took the safety precautions of putting jack stands under either side of the car to support the rear end. The front had collapsed right down to the bump stops, but the rear hadn't, and I knew as soon as I released the air pressure from the air shocks, the car would collapse. So that was done safely. Very glad I did that, because it would have been a low rider and not in the good sense. So now I can just simply button up the job by reinstalling the protective cover underneath the air compressor, and we'll test drive it. But right now, my other car, my S550 Coupe, is parked outside directly in front of this, and then I'd have to start this, and I will spare the neighbors 2 cold starts of V8 at 6 o'clock Sunday morning. That is not how you win friends and influence people, but I can button up this repair and put my tools away. We'll do a test drive, and we will call this a success, and that's 2 for 2 on high-tech Mercedes suspensions this week, so I'm pretty pleased. Thanks, guys. We will be back to you next, I believe, with some updates on the project car, the 1990 Mercedes 300 SEL W126 or V126 long wheelbase sedan. Thanks. Have a lovely day. I know I am, knowing this job is done. Thanks.